It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents, not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Awesome new show. Lots of great stuff going on, and interesting stuff happening. Interest rates, we'll talk about that. Some big stuff coming on the Fed, and a lot of predictions coming in for third and fourth quarter. We'll talk about what's going on with that. We just lots of great stuff. The summer market is here. As you know, it's one of the busiest weeks and months of the year, and we're seeing that happen in terms of buyers coming in town, new properties going to contract, which is great news, as we've seen some headwinds in terms of properties going under contract previously. Contracts closing. There've been a lot of deals been falling through. You've seen on MLS. We'll talk about that and what that means with just some buyer resistance, seller resistance, and a lot of that had to do with affordability with higher rates. Thankfully, though, this last week rates have come down as there was pressure on the Fed for them to lower rates, and some a few broke ranks a little bit, and we'll talk about that and kind of what that means. And we'll look into that. Also, stuff from last week's show didn't get a chance to get to. Huge news. Rankings came out. They rank all the top agents and teams across the country. We'll talk about where we came in with that overall. We'll also look at what happened in the marketplace for last month. We'll set up what to look for going into third and fourth quarter. There's a lot of people predicting right now that we will see a little bit of relief in terms of rates, because right now there's a lot of people who are on the sidelines who want to be in the game, who are not in the game just due to affordability, just due to higher rates. They're keeping their payment too high. And so we'll talk about that as well. Again, as usual, we have some amazing success stories. Our team's absolutely crushing it, working at both, burning the candle at both ends right now with this marketplace. We did this huge thing last week in our team called Monday Mayhem. Reached out, called a lot of people that are, part of our leads, or people come in. Our team made 10,000 plus phone calls last 7 days. On Monday alone, 231 conversations, booked 63 appointments of buyers that were looking to buy and get face-to-face. So lots of people coming in. We'll talk about what that means for you as a home seller, what it means for you as a home buyer. And we'll also talk about what the rate prediction really means going in third quarter if you're a buyer, what it means for you if you're a seller, and lots of great stuff there too. In addition, two major things. Our team's in hiring mode like crazy. We have massive amounts of leads that we get from all across the globe, both buyers, sellers, and we're looking just A players, people who want to play at a high level, maybe in the industry you're unhappy, you feel unfulfilled. We have the absolute best training you can imagine. I currently have 5 coaches right now coaching myself and our team. Also, you can plug into our real estate school to help you get licensed. If you're a licensed agent watching this, definitely reach out. And we'll also talk about today a horror story that I mentioned a few weeks ago about the neighbor. It did go into contract. They cost himself, in my opinion, a couple $100,000 just by picking the wrong agent. And I'll explain why to you. Left major important information out, had it listed wrong, had the price listed wrong, and it cost that seller lots of money. We'll talk about that on today's show as well.
For any new listeners, just to give you an update on just who Blake is, it's an amazing story. Industry leaders have dubbed him the real estate whiz kid. Been featured in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, NBC, Realtor Magazine, and many other national publications. Has been personally endorsed by Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck. One of those by itself is an accomplishment, but all of them together is unprecedented. Last week, we learned a little about how you and your team work, and how a good portion of your success has come from the trademark systems you have developed to help both buyers and sellers here in our market. Recap quickly for anyone new to the show what those are exactly, and a quick overview of how they work, Blake.
Yes, Rick, and this is the whole reason why we do the show, the whole reason, the DNA behind it. I think we're on year 15 or 16 of doing the show, and the whole reason we do this is to really kind of help break the mistakes that so many home sellers make, so many home buyers make, and it's just the same one over and over and over. And I don't know what it is. I think it just has to do with the industry, with most people kind of just being average. But the mistake that everyone makes in terms of real estate, or realtors, or they're getting their property sold, is just thinking that all real estate agents are the same, and it could not be any further from the truth, right? Just like any doctor and lawyer, agents are not the same. Why is that? Because they're people. And it comes down to, and there's two major things that are part of this. Number one, it's a high ticket item. So there's lots of nuances, lots of details, lots of things that matter. And number two, it's a long sales cycle. And so when you have a long sales cycle, meaning it takes days, weeks, months to get something sold, there's a lot of places for the ball to get dropped and details not to be managed. So it's a way to cost you a lot of money very quickly, right? You're not just going to Best Buy and buying a TV. You're in and out within an hour, right? This is something that takes days, weeks, months. And so there's so many opportunities where if someone's not committed to excellence at every single point and has a proven, repeatable system, there's a lot of opportunities for the ball to get dropped, and in turn cost you a lot of your hard-earned equity. And so that's something that really got in the business, really the reason why we do this show. And for example, this usually for most people, their house or their investment properties or their commercial properties or their condo is usually one of their largest assets, if not the largest asset. But what I notice is most people have no process, no understanding of how to pick an agent. They don't really understand the questions they ask. They don't really know what to say. And so the reality is they just go ask the wrong questions sometimes, like who's the cheapest, right? And I talk about this all the time. If I buy anything in my entire life by going with the cheapest, it's always going to be a bad outcome. If I want to find a BMW at Myrtle Beach and I want the cheapest BMW, guess what? I'm not going to get a very good car. If I want an attorney, if I have somebody charged a crime I didn't commit, or if I'm in a litigation, right, where I don't feel like I did anything wrong, the last thing I want is the cheapest attorney. Right. So you got to understand, you have to understand value and understand skill set, understand competency to make sure that all the nuances are handled. Because here's the deal. Most agents are pretty average, right? The average agent MLS sells 4 homes per year, less than 4 homes per year. So you take the amount of homes sold each year by the amount of real estate agents. There's 6,000 in our area here. So everyone knows a few realtors, but the average agent sells less than 4 homes per year. That's 1 per quarter. There's not a whole lot of experience to understand what's happening in the marketplace, much less any money to actually spend up front on your behalf. They're just trying to survive. Or if they're part-time or have a spouse that supports them, right, there's still not a lot of money to invest from a business standpoint to make the numbers work to get you the leverage that you need. Now, especially in the marketplace right now where things are slower than they have been, right? One of the slowest markets in 30 years across the country, you have to make sure you understand like the agent I choose matters more than ever, right? How they execute matters more than ever, because the fact is the single most important variable that determines your success or failure as a home seller comes to one thing only. The thing is the agent you choose, period. Right? Not the wall color, not the grass quality, not the time of year you list your property. It comes down to the agent you choose and specifically how well do they execute. And so what you find is most agents do the 3 Ps. They promise you will to get the listing. Number 2, they put it into MLS. And 3, they pray someone else brings a buyer. Meanwhile, they're down the street getting the next listing. Why is that? Because, well, half the listings don't sell. So there's a 50% chance it actually sells. They go get 2 listings now. Hopefully one of them sells. And so that leaves you the hanging, right? You would get an airplane if there's a 50% chance of making it, but they'll list with any old agent for, whatever price and only have 50% chance of selling, which is crazy. And so you want to make sure you understand that, look, the reality is the single most important decision you make is the agent you choose. And you don't want to go with some old school cassette tape model where most agents, they wait till they get the listing, then they put a sign on the ground, then they put an MLS, and they pray someone brings a buyer. You need someone who's proactive, who has marketing dollars out there, who brings buyers in before we ever call. And so what I did, I designed this thing called the Guaranteed Sold System. The only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well, right? Allows us to sell properties faster, allows us to create more demand for them, and allows us to make sure we negotiate from a position of strength for you and help you put more money in your pocket. I designed it. We do license other agents, other parts of the country, but it's exclusive to us, and it's mind-blowing. Anytime I saw the realtor yesterday who does a decent amount of listings here in town, but was just frustrated, kind of burned out, looked and saw what we had, and he was absolutely floored. He's like, dude, I never seen anything like this in my life. I actually saw him at the gym this morning early, and he's with a different company. He said, dude, I can't believe you shared that stuff yesterday. I'm still been thinking about it all last night about how crazy it was and how much I learned, right? That's the power of what it is and how it makes such a big difference, because I looked at what people did outside of real estate in other industries. I'm like, how do we bring that here and have predictable results with a proven, repeatable system that's backed up by 2 things? Number 1, a large team of people who specializes in what they do, right? If you have a generalist, which is what 99% of agents are, they're a generalist. I'm not mastering anything. All they're doing is playing whack-a-mole every day, trying to hit the loudest mole who's popping out with a problem. They're not executing at a high level because they simply can't as one human being. Even if it's a husband-wife team, they simply can't as 2 human beings to execute on all those with multiple listings. And so the second we back it up was technology, right? We spent multiple 6 figures to make sure we have technology that executes for us. We know who's supposed to do what, when they do it. They're held accountable to that, so we can make sure we're able to push buyers to sellers, match up buyers and sellers, and get results for our clients with a very, very, very hardcore culture who is pushing for results every single time. It's like I said, if you want to know where it works, reach out, call me. For buyers out there, it's also very difficult, right? Difficult marketplace. The agent you choose makes or breaks the home sale. I hear so many horror stories about the agent doesn't help them. The agent doesn't call them back. The agent doesn't proactively find properties. The agent doesn't even help negotiate. Why is that? Well, because the agent's desperate. And so they're going to throw the client under the bus in 2 seconds, right? If they're selling 1 home a quarter and they're trying to pay their bills and they're behind on bills, unfortunately, they're naturally going to throw that client under the bus, which is sickening. And so you want to make sure you absolutely work with the best. And so I designed this thing called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Get you priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as negotiation and home inspection to get you to that closing table successfully. And both of those are really just the beginning, because we're not here to sell your house. We want to be your real estate resource for life and help make sure you're taken care of the entire time you own the home. And if you want to know more what works, reach out, call me, right? At least investigate it. You at least owe it to yourself to look at it. We also filmed a great documentary. You can go watch it right now. Send it to your friends. Check it out. It's on blakesloan.com. It's right there for you. It breaks down what we do, what makes us different, the industry. It kind of exposes some insider secrets on how most agents operate. It's all there for you. So if you want to learn about that, go watch it, then give me a call. We're hustling this weekend. We hustle every weekend. 843-808-SOLD or blakesloan.com. I'll take a quick break, right back in a second.
Hey, Sean Hannity here with the only real estate agent in your market that I recommend, Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. And thanks for joining me today. You know, a lot of people may be thinking about selling their home, but they want to make sure they're getting the most money possible. What options do you have available to make selling a home easier?
Hey, Sean, we have 3 unique, innovative options for home sellers right now. First, we have a program for maximum convenience, where I represent a large investment fund with millions of dollars looking to buy homes at a fair price in the Myrtle Beach, Grand Trenton area. Or we have a program for maximum speed, where I can match your property up with over 100,000 plus active home buyers looking to buy properties here on the Grand Strand. Or 3, maximum value. We have a proven system. They'll sell your home twice as fast and for the 5 to 15% more money than traditional methods.
All right, thanks for keeping us up to date. 8 sold or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corbett. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. You offer several options to home sellers, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers in a time crunch, you can agree to sell it by a certain date, pay cash for your home, or even rent it.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time,
Use our proven marketing plan and sell it for the highest price.
work with my friend Blake Sloan and get the home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Brand new market update. All kind of stuff going on right now. It's interesting. We have 2 types of numbers, lagging numbers, right? That's what closed last month and what's going on real time. We'll have the brand new numbers from June out in next week's show. And they'll be interesting to kind of see what's happening. So we saw some massive headwinds. The condo market is struggling right now. We're seeing a lot of people drop significantly. We saw example in River Oaks where like the last one sold at 150. Nothing was selling. Then they dropped one. The most recent was listed at 100,000. And so it's interesting, right? We'll talk about what's going on with that. We talk about 2 types of numbers in the show, the front windshield numbers of like what's happening, what's real time going under contract, and helps you kind of keep pulse. Since there's a lot of stuff selling, at the same time, there's a lot of stuff not selling. And that's one thing I think that's interesting to kind of look at overall. I'll go through and do an experiment. I started last week on last week's show. I don't think I did it the full weeks would have much time, but it's wild to see. Basically, of all listings, there's about 10% per month that are going under contract, which is crazy. And so that's something that it's interesting to look at, where if you think 10% per month going under contract each month, there's a lot that aren't going under contract. And so the ones that are, there's some mid to high end stuff going under contract. There's certain neighborhoods, there's a lot of high demand. We're still seeing a lot of people relocate here. There's a lot of places that are just struggling, right? There's a lot of new home inventory in the market right now that are sitting there for a very, very long time. And so it's a very interesting marketplace. I've been in 20 years. Everybody I'm talking to says they haven't really experienced much like it. I do like it, though, from an agent standpoint, because now you got to be good, right? You have to have marketing skills. You have to have sales skills. You have to have the ability to understand numbers and know what's going on. And so that's something we're very, very good at overall. But we talk about 2 types. We'll talk about the front windshield numbers right now. In the last 7 days under contract, there's been 535 properties under contract for $196,386,000, which is awesome, right? Lots of big stuff there. Overall. And if you look at some big properties, one at $2 million, which is awesome. There over there, 11 properties over $1 million, which is great. 97 properties over 500,000. So there's still some big boys that are moving out there, right? That's one thing to keep in mind. And it's really nuanced. There are certain neighborhoods, certain areas that are doing great, certain property types that are doing great, certain property types that are struggling. And so it's important to know that you can look at the nuanced data, that you can look at the specific micro market data of your neighborhood and your zip code to really understand how to do strategy on how to get that done. The good news is we're in a seasonal market, right? And you're seeing it bump up like crazy. Anytime we're near 200 million, which this week, right, we're at 196,386,000, things are rolling. And so there is an opportunity where people come in town, people have been searching for a long time, for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. They combine their vacation with their home search, and they're in town buying right now. Hence how our team booked 63 appointments in one day on Monday. And so that was just our buyer team just on Monday. 63 appointments, which is awesome. And those to meet face-to-face, potentially go buy something. So awesome stuff there. You just look back at last week's show, 527. So basically 9 homes difference for 196 million. So right on the dot with that. Active homes for single family resale homes on the market right now in Horry County, 1,736, right? Lots of big stuff you're seeing there. Like I said, we saw $2 million in Georgetown and the reserve in Pawleys Island going to contract, Georgetown County. One in Conway, 4 Mile Road, under contract, 1.9 million, which is awesome. 6-bedroom house out there, huge space. Another one in Surfside Beach. I saw this one last week as well, 1.69 million, which is right there near the ocean, which is great. Another in Plantation Point on Arundel, 1.69 million. So you're seeing some big stuff happen. One in Seville and Grand Dunes, Waterway Palms, 1.6 million. And so but that one took 343 days for it went under contract. So you want to just understand, like, look, the agent you choose matters more than ever. There's still stuff selling. Prices are still holding pretty strong for the most part. Like right now, if you look at closed sales last month, and this is rearview mirror numbers, like what happened last month, sales down 2.6%. So not major, right? A little bit slower than it was last year. Prices, median price down 4.4% last month for single family homes. Resale homes, that is. 387,000 is the median price range. If you look at average sale price, down 2.5% last month at 508,000. It's up significantly from where it was in March. In March, it was 465. So you can see $40,000 increase right there just in 2 months. And that goes back to the seasonality. If you're thinking about selling, right, don't wait till the fall. I'm just telling you, the rates may come down. That would be a great relief. But ultimately, in Myrtle Beach, you make the hay while the sun shines. When everybody's coming to town, which is when June, July, and August, that's when you want to tee your property up, because that's when people come in town to look, and that's when they're looking to buy. Okay. And it also, really encompasses the Myrtle Beach lifestyle, what people are looking for. They want to live here. They want to be a part of it. And so that's when you want to have your property teed up. In my experience of doing this 20 plus years, supply of inventory is continuing to climb. Right now, it's 5.2 months. We're creeping up towards a buyer's market for sellers out there. It was safely in the 4s. Now we're 5.2 months. Once it gets to 6 months, that point means it's a buyer's market. The buyer has the advantage. There's more sellers than there are buyers. So keep that in mind, because inventory for sellers for single family homes up 26.8%, which is interesting. Average days on market actually came down significantly, which is great from where it was overall kind of with that. So right now, 100 days on average. It was at 116 just a couple months ago. So right now, the average home, if it does sell, takes 100 days to sell. Here's the crazy part, though. Only about 50% of properties you're actually getting sold. So if 100 properties get listed in 6 months, right, only 50 of them actually sell. It's actually less than 50, but we'll call 50%. And of those, they took an average of 100 days to sell on average. That's why you don't want to list with your friend of a friend of a friend who's doing real estate part-time and waiting tables at night, right? You need someone right now who has resources, who has expertise, who has experience, who can make sure they can get the job done for you. We just had somebody call our office yesterday, past client of ours years ago. We sold a property for it. He had a friend of the family get licensed, listed his property. It's up near Tidewater. Listed it with a friend of the family. She's a new agent. Guess what? Nothing. And he was looking to reinvest that money. It took over 7 months. Nothing. Frustration. No marketing. Had no clue what they're doing. He called. He said, "Man, I screwed up. I tend to have this thing where I give the small little guy a chance. I gave this new girl a chance. She's absolutely dropped the ball at every point," right? You cannot do that and gamble with your largest assets. You've got to have somebody who's got experience, who has resources. I can't just say that enough, but I just hear so many horror stories, and that's just one from yesterday. And why does the agent matter the most? These are the 2 most important numbers right now. Number 1, showings per listing. The average listing on the MLS for a single family home gets 3.5 showings for the entire time it's listed. So if it's 6 months listing, you're getting 1 every other month on average, which is terrible. It's down 16% from where it was last year. The average amount of showings it takes to get a contract is 12.8. So let's say 13, right? And so you really need 4 times the amount of showings than the average listing gets to actually get a contract, which is why most of them are sitting there for 100 plus days if they do sell, and also 50% of them are not selling when they get listed. And so that's very, very scary to think of as a home seller. You want to make sure that what you're seeing right now is just the middle is getting eliminated, right? People who are not very good at what they do, people understand marketing, who don't have any understanding of business, who just got in the business when it was super hot in 2021, 2022, are now just getting flushed out, right? Because they were there for the easy money. People who are good at what they do are now capturing more market share. That's why we're continuing to hire. We've doubled down our spend because you have to have a skill set that works very well right now. And that's what we've been doing for the last 20 years is fine tuning that. And so that's something we're happy to show you in detail. Condo sales are down 15.9% last month alone. So again, they're having a very, very difficult time for condos. Prices, though, surprisingly holding strong. It's flat from where it was last year, 0.0 change from the same time last year. $286,000 for average sale price for condos. Median price 0.0 change. So no change for their year versus year. At $240,000 overall for closed condos. Inventory is still continuing to climb. It's up 37.5% from last year at 8.8 months of inventory. And again, the two most important numbers that anyone needs to look at as a home seller is showings per listing and showings to pending. Showings to pending is how many showings does it take to go under contract. And so it's just simple math, right? If I'm not getting enough action, not getting enough eyeballs, not getting enough showings, then there's no way for me to get that property sold. And so that's the key. Like I mentioned this a million times, I'm basically a marketer in the real estate business. I can't force someone to buy your house, but what I can do is get a heck of a lot more people to look at your house and get a lot more eyeballs on your property online and get a lot more people walking through your door. And that's how we increase the chance statistically that someone buys your property. We make 10,000 phone calls a week. We book 63 appointments in one day. Do you think the chances are increased that we might sell your house versus some single agent who's playing golf 3 days a week? Absolutely. And that's where you move the needle at right there. So right now, the average showings per listing for a condo the entire time it's listed, 1.9. So again, if you have a 6-month agreement, in most cases, you're getting 1.9 showings the entire 6 months. How many showings does it take to get a contract? 8.7. So you need 4 times the amount of showings the average listing gets to get a contract. And that's where the major problem comes in. And so if you want to know more that works, I wanted to break it down for you. Again, it's one of those things that it's simple math, it's simple business. A lot of people don't understand that. They're realtors, they're just kind of winging it, looking what's out there. You have to understand how do I move the knobs to make sure I can get the right result on the back end. And one of the things that's really driving that right now is interest rates. We'll talk a lot about what to look for in third and fourth quarter in a few minutes. But right now, rates come down, which is awesome. This comes from the news a little bit. Jerome Powell gave a speech this last week. There's some pressure that came out afterwards for there to be a rate cut coming up in July. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But last week's show, 6.87%. This week, right now, 6.72%. So great news there. Significant drop, and you can already see some buyers jump back in. 15-year fix, 5.96, which is awesome. We're in the fives. 30-year jumbo loan, 6.85%, a 30-year FHA loan, 6.2%, and a 30-year VA loan, 6.22%. And so bottom line is we're seeing it move the right direction. Lots of great news. We had the lowest this past week in over 2 months. And so it's a perfect time aligned with summertime when people come to buy. So if you're thinking about selling, don't delay, right? Think about taking action earlier, at least get a plan in place. We're here to consult you, no pressure. We just guide you based on what your situation is. In some cases, we may say wait, some cases we may say go with it, but I am a nerd for numbers, and the data shows right now is absolutely the best time here in Myrtle Beach because the most sales happen June, July, and August. So if you want to know more, reach out, call me, 843-808-SOLD. Quick break, right back in a second. How much time we got?
Hi, I'm Barbara Porter. I'm excited to connect.
Hey, WRNN listeners, Clay Travis here. As investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find agent with the best tools and marketing to get the highest sales price possible for a home.
With one or two?
Clay, and here in Myrtle Beach with that agent,
okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee.
Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. And since you know what your current home will sell by and for how much, you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with 2 mortgages.
There's simply no other agent in the market who has a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 5-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing
That's Sloan Realty Group. And tune in to Blake's show Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back, Blake Sloan, Real Estate Show. Hot buyers alert. My team and I are working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers. You're looking at property here in the Myrtle Beach Grand Sharon area. If you're looking for properties anywhere from $250,000 to $4.4 million. If you're thinking about selling, please reach out. Call us immediately, 843-808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. One thing we've been doing here for years and years and years now, and we do it every time we sit face to face with somebody, is we put our money where our mouth is. Everyone wants to promise you the world. They tell you they're number one, this and that. But what they don't do is show you who do you have that are active buyers looking for a property like mine. We're spending $100,000 a month right now in marketing from all across the globe, getting buyers from all across the United States, internationally, and we're funneling them to our buyers, to our sellers first, and we need more inventory. And so right now, active home buyers that we have on our website with a username, password, account, 78,919 active buyers. That's 78,919 active buyers from all over the globe. I got right now Jeff Wood from Florence, South Carolina. I got Sandra and John from Denver, Colorado. I got Sanford, North Carolina, which is Mr. Sam Patel. I got Tom Boyd from Johnstown, PA. I got Joseph, I can't say last name, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Robert from Smyrna, Georgia. Milton, Ontario, which is pretty cool. Germantown, Ohio. I got Edison, New Jersey. Columbia, South Carolina. I got all kind of places. What's a couple international ones here? Basseterre, I'm not sure where that is. But lots of buyers. And if you're thinking about selling, guess what? You want to go to the place that already has the buyers. We call it buyers in waiting. We use our technology and our sales team when we're making 10,000 plus phone calls a week, just statistically increase the chances that we sell your property, right? It's all simple math. It's also in business. It's amazing how it works when you have a team of specialists, because it's impossible for one single person to make that many calls and have that many people and that many leads. But with us, with the team, it increases the chances. That's how I get more eyeballs on the property. That's how I get more traffic in the property. That's how we increase the average showings per listing. And that's how we increase the chances of getting contracts. So if you know anybody out there, friend, relative, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma, have them give me a call. 843-808-SOLD. The best, most amazing thing we get is a referral from somebody on this radio show. It means the world. Really quick success story. Savannah and Charlie owned a high-end home in Surfside. They had listed an agent. It was a friend of the family for over 6 months. They had only 3 showings, no offers. They were very frustrated. They were trying to move back up north, be closer to family. It was costing them precious time, as well as holding them back from being able to actually buy up north because they were in limbo down here. They almost gave up when they heard about Blake Sloan and Sloan Group on the radio. Gave us a call. They were blown away by the professionalism. They spoke with Joe on our team, who's amazing. He's been with me for 10 years. He's awesome. And he helped set everything up. We went over there, identified the problem immediately, which is obviously marketing. Came in, I designed a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, virtual walkthrough, drove massive traffic, 7 showings in the first week, under contract within 2 weeks. Now they're able to move back up north with maximum equity in their pocket, which is super awesome. And then also, Connie and Jason had a house listed in Conway, 6 months, trying to move Florida to be close to family. Guess what? Listed somebody who was a part-time agent, 6 months, barely any showings, no offer. Thankfully heard about us from a friend, which is awesome. We came in, designed a custom plan, launched global marketing blitz, professional photos, virtual walkthrough, had on contract within 2 weeks. And that's a sweet spot, right? You want to have it just too quick. Sometimes in a day or two, you might underprice a little bit. You want it to be a sweet spot where it gives people time to come in town, and that makes a difference. So 1 minute left. We're in the summer market, right? It's time to make decisions. If you're thinking about doing it this year, do it sooner rather than later. We also have an amazing tool online. If you just want, it's like your stock portfolio. I have a tool I spend a lot of money per month on. You can do it right on blakesloan.com. You can pull your own portal up, any property owned anywhere in the country. It'll keep a page for you, track of all the comps around you, all the stuff selling around you, real-time home value from all the major data sources. I can't control it. I have zero control of the pricing. It allows you to have fair data. You can save it in your phone, and you can watch what happens to your prices. You can get an instant cash offer online if you want to, a human valuation if you want to, or you can just watch the real-time data. And so do that. Save it in your phone. Save your friends for any property you have. We're here to serve you. 843-808-SOLD or blakesloan.com. We'll see you back here next week.